I just thought of a better one. I'm gonna
Oh, you're
change
gonna
it.
change it? You can
Yeah.
change it.
This one's better, I think, because it's directly on. What's up? What's up, Dungeon? Thanks for rolling in, dirt hippie.
Yeah.
Kristen, you know yours is a double entendre, right? I mean, triple entendre, right?
Oh. Well, it mildly occurred to me. But then I thought, no, maybe I just have a dirty mind.
No, 100%. I think it's funny and we should keep it.
Oh, okay. Actually, I think I only know the first and the second meaning. I don't know what the third meaning is. So maybe we shouldn't discuss it.
Well, no, the first meaning is maybe it is only a double, because it. What is the pedantic definition of like entendre? So like entendre is like, hey, I say a thing, and then a double means it can be interpreted another way. Triple would mean a third way. I'm thinking of two ways.
Okay. Then yeah, I am aware of the two ways.
Because the first one is gun, and the other one is a tool.
Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, maybe we might not be thinking of the same thing.
Oh.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Verquan, thanks for dropping in.
GM.
Kristen, I forgot to ask before we started. What time did you wake up this morning?
Wow, I like panic woke up at like 6:30 because I did get like this other alarm clock, backup alarm clock.
What is this, the 4th?
Yes. Okay. I don't even maybe I should show the collection of alarm clocks that just didn't quite work.
Are they in arm's reach?
Kind of. All right.
Okay. Chat, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate you spending some time.
I wish this worked because I think this alarm clock is closest to what everyone else wanted me to get. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's a big old.
It's a big old
yapadoodle morning clock.
Exactly. And like I don't have the batteries in right now, but yeah, when it rings, it's a rooster crowing. And I thought, haha, isn't this so funny? But the problem, I have to return this because it makes a really loud ticking noise for the second hand.
Like a bomb?
Yeah. And I mean, not to say anything about being on a spectrum or anything, but it really bothered me. So yeah. It can't live here.
Yeah, I mean, you can, what is that word? I don't know what the word is, but I get what you're saying, where like the small noises really irritate you.
Exactly. So I wish it worked, because one thing that I'm really like amazed by, because it's actually a really old clock, is that like the batteries have this like old-fashioned design where it takes 3, but it will work with just 1. It just the alarm won't work. So you can have this like backup function of like if you just only want the clock and you only have 1 battery, it would still go on. And a lot of circuits aren't designed this way anymore with the failsafe.
Yeah, they're full. If it's below the threshold of amps or volts or whatever, it's not going to work. That's interesting.
Yeah.
How old is it? You didn't just get it from Amazon?
It's from the 90s. It's from eBay or something. They don't make clocks like these anymore.
Do you use eBay often?
Sometimes I use Mercari. Do you know what it is? It's like eBay but on mobile.
Wait, eBay's not on mobile?
It's like a design for mobile experience, and eBay is not designed for mobile experience.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, I mean they have no incentive to. But yeah, this is sadly going bye-bye because it was just way too freaking loud.
That's, trial and error, iterations, repetitions, all the things we're going to be talking about today.
Correct. Except this is just consumerism.
Yeah. I've been waking up at 5:42, and it's because we had to turn off the circuit breaker when we were investigating that electrical fire thing the other week. Mm-hmm. And the alarm clocks, or like my plugged in alarm clock, turned off for, I guess, like an hour and 18 minutes. And then we turn it back on, and I haven't adjusted it back yet. And so I have my 7 o'clock alarm now going off at 5:42. And I'm like, let's just keep rolling with this.
I'm kind of amazed. You look fresh.
Yeah, I've been doing okay. I've been, not staying up till 2 in the morning doom scrolling, which is helping a lot.
Oh, because of the brick thing that you got, which is this device that like blocks apps and stuff, and you stick on your fridge, so you feel too guilty to go back to your fridge to unlock your apps.
Not guilty, lazy, but yes,
Oh, okay.
100%. So that has been helping at like 10 p.m. on the dot. My phone
Mhm.
bricks, which is very nice. And I've also just
Very
like,
sad for me because from that's way early for me, and my Telegram messages are ignored.
yeah, I mean, that's my treatment when you go hiking all weekend.
Oh, true, true. Hey, okay, baby.
And cool beans, I don't think I've purchased anything from eBay either.
Really?
Yeah,
Gosh, there's
apparently,
all sorts of weird stuff you can buy.
yeah, what one of eBay's biggest markets is in the past like 10, 15 years?
I
Can you
don't.
guess?
What is it?
Shoes, sneakers.
Oh, I do. I should have been more brave and guessed that. Because I was gonna say another thing that we buy from eBay, I don't know whether this is like a good thing or a bad thing, is used sneakers. I
Are
know
you a
it sounds
sneakerhead?
horrifying. Huh?
Are you a sneakerhead?
No, just for our own wear. And these aren't even cool sneakers. These are like Sauconys, like very practical trail running
So
shoes.
running shoes. You don't.
Yeah. Ugh, are, they're almost interchangeable, aren't they? But yeah, I know what you mean. They're not Jordans or anything like that.
Yeah, no, like Air Jordans or whatever.
Yeah, no, no. But like a lot of times like these like running shoes, you can't really buy the older models anymore. So if you want the older stuff, eBay is the place to find it. And oftentimes the improved versions are shittier.
I used to have a pair of running shoes that I really liked,
Hmm.
and when I went, because I just kind of did the move where I was like, oh, I like these shoes. I'm gonna buy a new pair of these shoes every year and a half or however long, because it can only go, 10,000 miles or however many miles these running shoes are supposed to go. I used to run a lot, but now I don't, thank goodness. But they discontinued that shoe, and I didn't know
Hmm.
that it might have been on eBay.
Hmm. Yeah, if you have a favorite, you should go and check.
Yeah.
And if you can't find it, you can check Mercari, Poshmark, not sponsored.
Chat.
How?
The nothing. The dungeon. I definitely agree that the morning hours are just like this mystical, oh, other people aren't awake yet, so I feel like I can actually do stuff. I've been getting fed. My algorithm is sending me videos like shorts about dad hours, which is like 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. or whatever.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, but that's funny.
Is that so? What did you do in your 5:42 to whatever?
So what I've been feeding the cats because that's the first thing I got to do every day. And
Oh.
then I've been trying to grow a little wildflower garden in our front
Mm.
yard because
Oh.
we have this little patch of dirt. It's like 4 by 7 ish,
Hmm.
but it's like kind of crappy. And so it's crappy, it's inclined, and pretty much the landlord had never put anything there.
Hmm.
And since like since we didn't really do anything with it because it wasn't our house, like the rain and stuff had like kind of washed all of it away, like the topsoil. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it because I don't want it looking ugly. And so I, bought a bunch of topsoil and wildflower seeds. I've been trying to grow it. So I've been like doing my morning, 20 minutes of trying to get this thing to grow, and it's
Aw.
mixed results.
Oh. Is it balding? Like what's happening there?
I don't even know what that means. The
Like patchy, like some are growing, some are not.
Yeah, like it doesn't get even sunlight throughout the day. I
Mm.
also like I've never grown anything in my life, and so I
Oh.
like spreading seeds and stuff. I just
Hmm.
probably didn't do it that well.
You didn't ask your buddy Chatty G how to do it?
Well, I did, but I didn't like I was just like, yeah, I'll just do this. But I like me, I learn everything the hard way, and so I
Well,
have to
yeah.
like yeah, and so I also didn't fully like weed it because it was kind of a pain. So I was like, clover will grow along with it, and I think that's like choking out some spots. And so like I did do some weeding, just not 100%.
Mm.
And then what else? Oh, like I said, it's rained a couple times, so I think some of the seeds got washed down the hill. And
Oh,
then we also have like squirrels and chipmunks and stuff, and so they just like dig in there, and I think that's like stopping some of the patches too. So like I'm going through all of the problems of trying to grow stuff.
if anyone has gardening tips to solve all of these problems with the least amount of work, please do share.
Yeah. I mean, the next step is now that most of the wildflowers are like 2 to 3 inches, I'm gonna go to the store and grab some plugs for a little bit further along stuff to fill in the gaps, and I think
Yeah.
that'll solve it.
The hair transplant
Yeah,
of the
basically.
gardening world.
Yeah. And so we'll get those in there, and then I think it'll be good. Like I'll get some
Hmm.
like dwarf sunflowers. Made sure all of the plants are cat safe. Like our cats are indoor cats, but sometimes they like get out onto the porch.
Hmm. Yeah, you gotta make sure we don't accidentally poison the little guys. Oh my gosh! Speaking of animals, we have
Bert,
Bert Worst joining us, who is
thanks for dropping in.
the most
It's
famous dog on Farcaster.
cool. Beans is saying herbs. That's a good idea. Like there's not.
I wonder what kind of herbs cool beans means. Though.
Oh,
Hey, Raffaello. Yo, very nice to see you here.
that's funny.
Yeah.
It's actually been a really good exercise in unpacking what gardening actually is,
Hmm.
which is what we're going to talk about today. You want to explain the essay that we read?
Oh, sure. So the essay is that we're going to read today is "Face It, You're a Crazy Person," or "Why Your Brain Needs a Box Cutter." That's his subtitle, and it's by Adam Mastroianni.
Adam
I'm
Mastroianni, I think is how
Thank
you
you.
pronounce
We're
it.
gonna have to splice that in.
Oh no, there's no L. It's Adam Mastroianni.
Oh, okay.
Adam Mastroianni. Say that 5 times
Yes.
fast. Jeez.
I will not. Because I think it'll get worse and worse. But yeah, he's an author that you recommended me a while back, and he's
Yeah.
like a PhD postdoc. Writes about very intellectual topics, and
We did
this.
we did a show on science is a strong link problem, I think is
Oh yeah,
the essay.
hmm, yeah. That you're right. We did do one way back in the day. And yeah, like he talks about how we envisioned our careers or jobs or what we'll do with our lives. And how we when we're doing that, we oftentimes have this like imaginary ideal of what doing that job is like. But once you try to unpack it, then you realize that wait, it doesn't really match reality. And so, and he goes on to talk about some of the classic themes like 10,000 hours and all of that. So we can also get into those discussions. So it's sort of like we both kind of know, but I think the
Yeah.
way he says it is really strong and unique.
Yeah, we talk about this stuff all the time. It's really kind of a meditation on most people, teenagers, adults, people that are mid-career, think
Hmm.
about the outputs of jobs way
Hmm.
more than the inputs of jobs. And as a result, you end up not really understanding what you're getting into until you're like actually doing the thing. And
Hmm.
that's not a good way to pick jobs.
Yeah.
It's
And
really painful, actually.
Dungeon Master said the best part of the article, hands down, quote, "When people match their crazy to the right outlet, they become terrifyingly powerful."
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it's another version of what we've talked about a ton, which is the thing you can do the best is the thing that you can do the longest, and the thing that you do the longest is the thing that you just actually like doing.
Correct. Though I feel like the word the I feel like you and Art use this phrase a lot. Load bearing word or
Yeah.
whatever load bearing phrase of that is right outlet. And I feel like that is the hardest thing to reconcile, right? Because if people can just do whatever they want to do that they enjoy, then there won't be economic struggles.
I mean, I think every piece of media that you consume is like a Rorschach. How do you pronounce that? Rorschach?
I've been saying
Rorschach?
Rorschach, but I'm not
Rorschach.
sure.
Yes, it's like it's a Rorschach test. I think it's Rorschach. Anyway, everything that you consume is a Rorschach test for like what you're thinking about at that point in time.
Oh,
So
100%.
if
Especially
you're
me.
yeah, if you're stressed about making money, you're gonna read this and be like, well, yeah, the thing I'm good at doesn't make me money. But like that doesn't mean it's not how you get good at stuff or like how you find stuff that you can be good at. You know what I mean? And that's what I wanted to argue with you
I'm
about
trying
in
to be
argument.
devil's advocate here.
Then be it. Let's fight.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to go right into it, or we can talk about our feelings first? We can kind of
Oh, yeah.
intermingle since I feel like this article is so related.
Yeah, I mean, like we can go where we wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
For how are you feeling today?
Oh, uh, you know that meme of the person who's like, OCD thinking about something, where
The person who's
I just need
there.
to fix blah, and then it's like all the panels are that thing, and it just turns
Yeah,
into
yeah,
a
yeah,
little black box.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's been me.
About what?
Uh, I think lately, maybe because of our show, my latest loop is loops themselves. So it's sort of like, I just need better OODA loops. I just need better OODA loops. And then that's sort of like filling all the boxes right now, where I feel like, I'm building stuff, right? And that comes with this package of struggles. And there's a part of me that's going, if I can fix the OODA loops to be tighter and like closer to what I naturally enjoy doing, then I will not be struggling with things.
Can I ask you what your definition of a good OODA loop is?
Is one that has flow, and like doesn't make me feel like I can't start, I think. And there's
Okay.
certain tasks like, that are easy for me to start.
So reflecting that back to you, they're small enough to not feel overwhelming. Is
Yeah.
that fair? Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because I think there are some tasks that are pretty big, but because I naturally find them fun, they're not hard to start. But however, they don't finish really well. So it's always there's a catch to it, to the entire OODA situation.
Well, so it sounds like, the starting isn't the problem. It's having a completed one is part of
Yeah, or like
like your
things are
standard.
easy. It's either like they're hard to start, but I think if I finish it, they would stack better towards my goals.
Hmm.
Or they are like easy to start, but it's like a little bit like off target.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, like although I finished this, I'm missing the key critical components that will make this thing worth doing. Something
What
like that.
what
So
I'm
related to
dancing.
this, huh?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, so related to this essay, like that's one of my like biggest questions. Which you sort of touch on in your essay too, that you pumped out like just yesterday, like which roughly is about like you need to put in the time towards what you are complaining about not getting good at.
Yes.
It's that like I have this like vision of like Lego block stacking oftentimes where I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, I can see that I'm doing stuff, but it's not in the correct order for things to stack. And I feel like that is the trickier part for me is like I won't say prioritization, but it's sort of like just like I know that people who can make the crazy outlets work are people who stack it at the right order or the right things have happened in the market for that pile of things to be valuable in society to be compensated for.
I think I disagree.
What?
I like. I think just because someone's successful doesn't mean they've stacked things successfully. I think that's glossing over a lot of backtracking and false starts and things that didn't stack or didn't appear to stack at first. And then when you zoom out like if you zoom out far enough, then it
Mhm.
looks like it's stacked. And so like a career where you do this for a little bit, a career where
Mhm.
you do this for a little bit, and then eventually the third thing you do is actually a mix of those two things. And oh, actually, yeah, I'm pretty good at this thing because of these random two skills.
Mhm.
Now, the trick is successful people, whatever you're defining that as, probably have some version of that. But also a lot of unsuccessful people have like there's way more people that are unsuccessful that have a messy path. And so like it's necessary but not sufficient to do the things you want to do, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
At least that's how like I'm like what
Oh
I
wait, I'm
wanted
supposed
to.
to disagree more. No way.
No, I mean, like, you disagree if you disagree. What I wanted to poke you on with the loops is
So Chad, we realized that sometimes when we clip things that I'm like too agreeable. And it just ends up sounding like I'm agreeing with everything Cameron's saying. So I need to insert these more snippets of me like comically disagreeing. So we have some more different clips.
We're not trying to artificially do that, but
I
we
know,
have a similar worldview about a lot of stuff.
but I think like I have like mild like clarifications, but I tend to
Then
say
clarify.
even though I have mild clarification questions. So I'm gonna
I'm
switch to comically disagreeing.
the but I think so. Obviously, I'm spending a ton of time building my own systems out right now.
Mhm.
I'm really worried because we know
You
each other pretty
are?
well. No, no, about you. Like not about me.
Oh.
I'll be fine. The no, I'm worried that you are judging yourself by such a fuzzy standard for these loops
Mhm.
that there is no space to succeed at them.
Oh, true. And then Sam also adds, what about scoping down your loop?
Like the point of the loop is to do the loop, not for the outcome of it. You know what I
Not
mean?
to do the best, most beautiful loop?
No, I mean like you want to get better at doing whatever your loops of stuff are
Mhm.
over time, but
Mhm.
the reward for the loop is completing the loop, not any of the things down the road that it might give you. And if you are anchoring the value of
Mm.
your loop on the
Mhm.
future things, you will never be happy because most loops don't do that.
Oh, but I think I am getting closer to this sort of
Great.
thinking. So that's why that's what I meant by obsessing over the loops themselves is that I realized that like well, if I, keel over and die tomorrow, like it's so dumb to anchor to some like future outcome, right? So I need to optimize for momentary happiness. And I can see that the way I construct the loops are based on these far off outcomes, and therefore it's always gonna make it suck. And therefore, my subconscious brain is going, "Nah, we're not doing this right now. This just blows."
Yeah.
Hmm.
Living in tomorrow means you're never going to be happy, which is it's
Hmm.
like such a trite thing to say, but I don't know. I have some pretty strong opinions about most trite things are trite because it's actually universally valuable knowledge and like everybody just learns it their own hard way in their life.
Hmm. Well, this is the meaning of this show: learning it the hard way.
Yeah. That if we were to rename it, would it just be the hard way?
Yeah, lots of double entendres there. And hey, Dries, thanks for joining us, and thanks for the is it backhanded compliment? PPP. Cam got really good at making eye contact with the cam.
I mean, honestly, I appreciate it. I've made a concerted effort to try to make more eye contact with the cam because when
Hmm.
we're clipping, it's so obvious when we're like over here while the other person is talking, and then it just like looks like we're not paying attention to each other at all.
Yes, we've seen every iteration of the clip material gone awry.
Yeah. I mean, that's our version of putting in the hours though, right? Like,
True, and I think we've set up a system now where I actually like the short editing process. I'm like, oh, I can just start it and stop it pretty quickly.
yeah.
So I feel like, oh, I want this feeling before all my other tasks. Then therefore I'll get so much better at it.
I mean, it's frustrating because you can only really improve one thing at a time. And like I'm gonna plug wiser.xyz, the essay that I just posted, and you should plug Reframe here in a second. The have you put in your hours essay is kind of a not reprimand for myself, but kind of like one of those come to Jesus moments of everything you're frustrated about being bad at.
Hmm.
It's like very rational for you to be bad at it because you haven't really spent a ton of time doing XYZ thing. And even if you feel like you've done a lot of time, most areas take more time than any of us are really used to putting into things
Hmm.
because we're used to getting another dopamine burst every time we swipe our thumb. And that's kind of like the default state of the world, which is terrifying.
So, but we're gonna overcome that together, right?
Maybe.
Well, all right. Well, I dropped in the URL
Oh,
to
thank you.
say, have you put in your hours? And I feel like my latest OODA loop is my newsletter digest called Reframe Daily.
Pretty good. And
When
I
my
don't care
friends
about
that
health
first
stuff.
suggested it, they were like, because my friend Chao has been very helpful, like advising me on how to build Reframe. And then I was like, yeah, I need like a way to reach people and to be able to get in their inbox, right, with valuable or hopefully valuable material. And then I was like, I'll do it once a week. And he was like, no, you have to do it once every weekday. And I was like, oh no, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And it was really daunting to start at first. But now I feel like it does help a lot for me to like think about, oh, how can I make this newsletter like 1% better every day? And because I call it freaking Reframe Daily, now I'm on the hook to
You're stuck.
actually publish daily.
I mean, it's such an annoyingly good example of the stuff that we talk to each other about all the time. And it's going to be the best thing that you do because you touch it every day.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm like, fine, it is true. If I have like a system where I can touch something every day, I'm like, oh, I am improving on it. But I think where it gets really tricky is I was trying to do the math on like how many of these like 10,000 hour blocks do you have in your lifetime? So if you assume that you start at 18, which I think is actually a little late, but let's just assume start at 18, you die at 88, you actually only have like 20 blocks of 10K hours if you consider 8 hours a day devoted to it. And realistically, for deep work, you only have like 4 hours a day. So you only have like 10 of these 10,000 hours in your entire lifetime.
So there's
Isn't that
a
horrifying?
So no, I think it's exciting, and I'll explain why. So Dio Dad over on Farcaster, he made a post yesterday,
Oh,
and it was he was reflecting back on something that his football coach in high school said. And now that I think about it, I don't know if it was American football or soccer football, but he said the coach when someone is we'll say remarking about things like that, he just shrugs and goes, "Bitcher's bitch." And like there are things that are worth complaining about, and I acknowledge that. First of all, we both
well,
know
what I'm saying is not a complaint; it's an alert.
yeah, but the isn't it horrifying is kind of implying that there's something wrong with it.
Well, I wasn't implying that, but I can see how it can be read that way.
What else is it horrifying mean?
Like, are people aware of how few there are? First of all,
No, they're not.
yeah. So that I think the lack of awareness is to me horrifying, not the actual fact that it exists. I mean, the fact that it's just reality, right?
Oh, I mean, if you had said that in the next sentence, I would have agreed with you.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't thought that far. Okay.
That's what we're here for.
That's also the other tagline of the show. I haven't thought that far.
But anyway, so I bring that up and kind of connect it with with what Chad is talking about is the hours in terms of a quantitative number don't actually matter. Like they do in the sense that you can only get good repetitions at things by putting in a big chunk of hours. But like the 10,000 pop sci, you have to do 10,000 hours to master something. Like that's not what I'm talking about personally. And I try to make it clear in the essay, like I'm basically trying to understand if I can evaluate my ability at a thing and if I can trust my ability to evaluate myself. And so, like, I'm not trying to like relitigate the whole essay here, but for people that are good or have like learned multiple new things before, you need way less than 10,000 hours to be like pretty dangerous in like a task or a thing or an activity. Like most people in most fields don't really work that hard. And so if you like have the opportunity to really go deep and focus, and lock in, to use the word that do you like lock in or do you not like it?
I mean, I use it. Lock in, crash out, words I'm learning from y'all.
But like you can outwork a lot of people by putting in the work, but you can't outwork people by wishing you were good at a thing. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's so easy to say, but like, like one of the things that I kind of need to be a little bit more honest about myself, and shout out Mary M in the chat because she does a good job of leaning into music because that's one of her big passions. Like
So good.
I I make music, but in kind of an unserious way. And that's like okay for parts of my life because
Mhm.
I'm like juggling other things. But
Mhm.
there is a big part of me that says it wants to make music in a more serious way. But if you
Mhm.
look at the things that I'm doing, I'm kind of like reading about making music and not making music or watching videos or just listening to music. And if I really wanted to get serious and get, top 30, 20% in the world at whatever, I need to put in the hours in my, in recording and playing and practicing and writing. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, just not doing that, at least at this current juncture. And we forget that.
So I feel like the 10,000 hours thing is more like what can you enjoy doing for 10,000 hours, right?
More as in what is it relative to? Like are we like trying to find good ways to live your life? Because I'm talking about like in my
I'm
post and
talking
this
about like getting good. Get good, as you say in your essay.
yeah. I think anybody can get good at anything if they have the discipline to put in the hours.
Mhm.
Is one person's 1 hour going to be as effective as another person's 1 hour? Like, if you are 6.5 feet tall, you're probably better than the 5 foot person at dunking a basketball. And that's just kind of the nature of being a person.
Mhm.
But having the discipline to do something, I think, is a separate vector than the thing that you should be doing,
Mm.
which is I think what you're hinting at.
I feel like it's so hard to have this discussion very cleanly because it's like a multivariate situation.
Yeah, sure.
Because especially with your music example, right? I think that's a classic example of like I feel like you are really enjoying like dabbling, even though actually I think you're technically really good. But then it's because your actual thing that you really want to spend 10,000 hours on right now is writing. At least I think it is.
I mean,
Right?
I
That's what we
don't.
end up talking about a lot in our
Yeah, I mean,
Monday
it's
stand up.
so if I'm gonna be brutally honest with myself, it's the thing that I have the best system for outputting right now. And so
Um,
I'm in a way taking the path of least resistance by leaning into like writing tools and publishing stuff because like I have made paths for that and I haven't really done that with my music stuff. And so, there's definitely an element of, listen to what your body or your soul or whatever is telling you to spend more time on.
mhm.
But Hank Green just posted a pretty good video, and in it, he used a metaphor that I hadn't really heard before about how to think about yourself in your body as a human.
Mhm.
And like he's basically of the opinion that we have less agency than we like to tell ourselves, which I think is fair, especially in relation to the internet and the armies of data scientists that are trying to manipulate us into doing stuff.
Mhm.
But the metaphor he uses is you're kind of a jockey riding an elephant in your body,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
so you can try to get the elephant to turn, but an elephant's kind of going to do what it wants to do unless you can be like pretty persuasive.
Mhm.
And so with that, I kind of feel like the elephant because the thing between me and the publishing, which I know I intellectually want to do, and I think, in my moments of deep reflection, like really emotionally want to do,
Mhm.
is not facilitated by the systems that I have made up in my life so far. And I'm working on that. Well, what do you think about the elephant metaphor?
I feel like that's a super Buddhist metaphor as well, or
Oh,
Stoicism and all of that. It's the same. It's like the mind is something that is like a little separate from you, and your role is to be able to understand it and to tame it and all of that.
do you think Buddhism and Stoicism are more similar or more different?
Way more similar. However, I think the modern day tech bro version of Stoicism is missing many parts of the original Stoicism.
Okay, say more.
In that, like, I think the modern interpretation is like, like, fuck your feelings or something like that. Oops. I think we're late enough in the stream for me to
Look,
start.
I don't care about cursing on the internet. Like, if I can't curse because I'm afraid of some algorithm, just fucking shoot me.
Okay. It's so funny that I'm the one who did it before you, though.
No, I said
So,
bitcher's bitch earlier.
oh, that's true. That's true. But that's a soft one.
That's true.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, so whereas I think the original Stoicism has a lot more like feeling your feelings and then do it anyway. And I feel like the skipping the feeling your feelings and going straight to doing it anyway is missing the core, the heart of Stoicism. And also, like historically, a lot of these philosophies like intermingle with each other. So
Yeah,
it's
sure.
like like Buddhism also took from Stoicism as well. So it's like there's no such thing as a separate religion in a clean way in which we define it by institutions these days, in my opinion.
Gasp.
I know, so controversial.
Well, okay. Actually, let me poke you a little bit. I believe that to be true. Obviously, you believe that to be true. You just said it. How do you take the concept of cultural appropriation in the context of that being true?
Uh, I think give credit where it's due, as far as you know about it.
True.
I think attribute. All people want is attribution, like oftentimes.
But they want money too.
Yeah, of course, and don't like be accidentally mocking it. I think that's the other touchy parts, right? Like if you're doing a caricature of what you think it is like, which again, it's like an intention, right? If you genuinely like, it's just like a can kill situation where you just don't know and you just misunderstood, but you have a good heart behind it, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it out of like willful ignorance, then that's a little problematic.
Yeah. I mean, at the risk of being a white guy explaining cultural appropriation to an
That's
Asian
what I'll
woman.
clip.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
Clip it
and
out of
the other funny
context.
thing
Ruin
is
my
that
life, please.
oftentimes, I want to explain to the chat, like some of these clips, it makes like Cameron seem like you're mansplaining, and the hilarious part is that I clip those.
Yeah, Kristen is doing her best to destroy my life.
I know, and I'm like, whoopsie, I didn't see it that way, but now that you mentioned it,
Yeah, we've gotten a couple mean comments about it.
yeah, that's
But
why
the
and you're also the one addressing all the YouTube comments too, so you get the brunt of it.
I'll like see a clip that Kristen posts, and I'll be like, "Oh no, Kristen!" Uh, but at the risk of being that dude,
Hmm.
I've tried to think about it a lot, and the biggest thing, as it often is understanding the context in which you are doing something.
Hmm.
And the only way that you can really understand the context in which you're doing something is by understanding the history and the past and why the thing that you're doing,
Hmm.
either intentionally or unintentionally, is hurting or negatively impacting other people. Like one of the most obvious ones is like white rappers benefiting from the entire cultural history and the struggle of black people in America and just getting the benefit part without any of the other systemic pain, which is like, I don't know, like the ones that navigate that effectively are very, very well versed in the history of hip hop, which, as an outsider, like I've watched that and I've tried to understand it as best I can.
You mean like Eminem?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it helps that Eminem is just like incredibly technically skilled and like loves the craft of it. But even less technically proficient rapper, like white rappers, some toe the line well, according to other people, not according to me. Because whatever. Kristen, I forgot what I was going to say, but I thought it'd be fun if we unpacked our previous lives.
Oh, what do you mean by that? Like talk about what we did before that we got good at, or as you call it, checkpoint Bravo
Yeah.
in your essay.
Quick note for anybody. In the essay, I talk about two proficiency checkpoints that I use to gauge myself about whether I can have a qualified opinion about activity, talent, skill, industry, whatever. Checkpoint alpha is you've basically done like a couple toy projects in it. You've put in roughly like 30-ish exploratory hours, and you've come across a lot of the things in the space that are like common knowledge. That's the point where you can be like, oh, I might understand some interesting like rabbit holes to go down. Checkpoint Bravo is like a year of focused tinkering. And like checkpoint Bravo is where if you've put in consistent work and like been diligent about it, like I would put you up against many people that do it full time in terms of competency, because most people don't work that hard.
Hmm.
So yeah, like what I'm asking
So,
is,
mhm.
Adam talks about the concept of unpacking jobs to really understand if you want to do it in your life.
Mhm.
And he uses the example of somebody's like, "Oh, I wish I ran a coffee shop." And it goes into
That's
like,
me.
where would you buy beans from? What's a good coffee mug? How do you do the P&L for the bit? Like that's like the nuts and bolts of running a coffee shop, which is like what it's actually like.
Right, right.
I'm interested in the nuts and bolts of your previous life.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
And
and then
I'll do
so
the army afterwards.
right, right. And then so like Sam who makes these humankind candles brings this up too. What can you enjoy doing and be better than other people and get paid up for? So I think we touched on enjoy and now we're getting into better than other people. Well, the immediate example I thought of is actually educating healthcare providers and the nuts and bolts of that.
Yeah.
Which I'm trying to exemplify with Reframe Daily, but also why I internally struggle because I'm like, oh, this can be so much better because I've done it so much better before. But like in the big pharma biotech world, the subtle art of it is that you have to allow the audience or the customer type to think that they thought of it themselves. Like it's not just about educating because they are not open to being educated, right?
So
Especially,
it's selling.
huh?
It's selling.
It's selling, yeah, it is selling. However, because you can't directly sell to doctors, for sure, like a lot of them are not happy with that. You need to like slip it in as like we're going to learn. Which is like the thing is like right now in terms of the medical education, a lot of it is done by private companies. Actually, once a doctor
Mhm.
is out of medical school, like the way they can keep up in their field is often through these like academic conferences. However, a lot of it is also carried by like pharmaceutical companies because they, in order for them to sell you the latest drug, you need to understand how it works. So they got to teach you how it works as well. So it's a very like
S-
big mix of influence.
So what did
Um,
you do to do that?
so we would run a lot of these education programs at conferences or like what I call like speaker bureaus, which are essentially these dinner series where you are legally allowed to pay these doctors a steak dinner with wine in order to attend these dinners that are talking about the product. However, we would pay doctors to lead these series so that they are learning from their own peers.
Okay. So medical sales, is that what you would call it?
We call it medical education.
So medical
And then there is actually a John Oliver episode about this whole industry.
so medical education is steak dinners mostly.
Um, yes. So a lot of it is like actually, clamp down a lot more, but that was one of the main ways you would do it. We would also like run advisory boards for doctors so that we can understand their perspectives and also share our opinions on like, or like try to solicit opinions on what they think about the latest research, that kind of thing.
At steak
But
dinners.
these don't have steak dinners during, but we would pay for their flights and their food and everything. And they're
Gotcha.
often held at airports. So I feel like I got really good at navigating the DFW, the Dallas Fort Worth Airport, because I've been
Right.
there so many freaking times. And making sure it's a very streamlined experience for all the doctors.
Can I ask what was the like to unpack the path to get there? Because you
Hmm.
were a neuroscience PhD.
Hmm.
What is like the day in the life of a neuroscience PhD hourly? Because it sounds like that one it kind of changes day by day. A lot of
Hmm.
travel, a lot of conferences, a lot of steak dinner. But
Hmm.
before that, you had to do a bunch of other stuff in college.
Uh, yes, I spent a lot of time pipetting and then doing all the actual nuts and bolts of doing research.
Well, I don't know what that is though.
I feel like it's very hard to describe what it is because most people have this like TV version of what it's like doing research, which consists of someone holding a pipette incorrectly, oftentimes. Um, But a lot of times, like, you would get yelled at by your advisor, and then
Okay.
like you would like learn to formulate some kind of hypothesis, and then you would do experiments to like prove it right or wrong. And a lot of that involves, the nuts and bolts of it is like, oh, you gotta kill animals, you gotta like grow like cells in a dish and make sure they don't die on you and don't contaminate with mold. So it's much closer to like working in a kitchen. I
Okay.
think, or what people imagine what it's like to watch the bear and shows like that, where it's like really hectic and you got to make
Yeah.
sure everything happens right on time and people are yelling at you. Like that's what it's actually like working in a lab, and not like this whole like, I don't know, stock image of someone writing on a glass whiteboard
Yeah. No,
situation.
that's all. That's my mental model of it. So
Yeah. So I feel like when I'm talking to like grad students or like wannabe grad students about going into research, that's something I assess. Actually, is like, oh, have you ever actually worked in a lab? Because a lot of times undergrads are allowed to like intern, and we teach them like a little thing, right?
yeah.
And if you don't enjoy like the nuts and bolts of doing really repetitive tasks over and over again, do not go into research, because that's 99% of it, and 1% of it gets published.
Nightmare. Nightmare.
It was really fun. I liked it
I'm
at
glad
the
you had
time.
fun. Like that's the Adam find your specific type of crazy, because that just not does not
Yeah.
sound fun for me.
Yeah, when Sam makes the candles, I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually looks a lot like what it's like to work in a lab. You have these like giant setups. You have to have SOPs and make sure everything's the same.
Follow the checklist.
Hmm.
Man, that's
I mean, isn't
nuts.
that like in the army though? Like, tell me about the army. That's what I imagine.
Well, so the average day so you're either in garrison or you're in the field, and if you're deployed, it's a little bit different. But so
What's
in
a
garrison,
garrison?
garrison means like you go do your normal work day, which is like 6 to 6 ish, and and you're not sleeping in the woods is like the shorthand.
Oh,
And so in garrison, you show up 6:30 usually for morning PT. You'll do exercise in formation with your group for 90 minutes, a lot of running, a lot of push-ups, pull-ups, that kind of thing. And then you'll break for breakfast, and you'll have like 30, 45-minute chunk of time to get breakfast. You come back, depending on what your unit does, you'll report for work at like 8 or 9, and then your work. I mean, again, it depends. Like a mechanic will do mechanic things. We were infantry, and so we like did infantry training, which would be like learning about a new piece of equipment that we just got from the government just bought for us. So now we have to learn how to use like a javelin, like rocket launcher type thing,
that sounds
and
fun.
it can be, and but there's a lot of hurry up and wait, and so training people like to do. All of the things around training is a lot less fun. Like, there's a lot of gear in the military, and so one of the things that you're doing fairly often is like a gear layout. And so you got to take all of the things that Uncle Sam has issued you, and you have to like lay them all out, and then everybody, like whoever is signed for the equipment, aka responsible if it goes missing, has to count all of the pieces of equipment. You might have to do this multiple times in a week, sometimes multiple times in a day if somebody's missing something important. And so it's a lot of everybody is like waiting because one person doesn't know where a piece of equipment is. And so you're just kind of like sitting there in the sun while that person dumps out all of their gear everywhere and is desperately trying to find the piece of equipment they should have. And so, that'll kind of continue. Sometimes you do cool training. Sometimes you do dumb training, and you're just watching somebody with zero charisma give a PowerPoint presentation. And then if you're in the field, usually it's structured around like training events, which are just like executing like a military thing. So like I was a mechanized infantry platoon leader. So we had 4 Bradley fighting vehicles, which you can kind of think of as tanks that carry troops. And in a 24-hour period, we might run 2 or 3 different multi-hour missions and be like, hey, attack this town. And then there'll be like a simulated town set up in the middle of the desert, and there'll be other soldiers like defending it. And you basically play army laser tag.
Oh,
Really fun, but out of the 24 hours, 18 of them are not doing that. And so you're just kind of like twiddling your thumbs out in the desert doing whatever because somebody else who needs to watch the training, like your boss or your boss hasn't shown up yet. So you're just kind of waiting. If you have an enterprising unit, they'll fit in like more other interesting training in there, but there's really only so much that you can do in a day. And you're just like I would say, like the way that I describe the balance of things in the military is like I have like maybe 5 or 10, oh man, this is really freaking cool moments from being in the military. And then I have countless, dude, this sucks moments. Because like the flip side of that is you have to do all of that, but also it's like hurricane, thunderstorm, or tornadoing. And so it's just like the version of it that briefs well, sounds cool, and then it's just miserable. And so the people that like the thing that people don't unpack about the military is like they see tanks firing and missiles exploding and they're like, that's sick.
Yeah.
And it is. But all the other stuff is like, oh, in order to get there, we have to walk 30 miles with 100 pounds on your back. It's just kind of like, that's what you trade.
So when young upstarts come to you to talk about like what it's like, what is the one thing that you make sure they understand what it's really like to be in there?
I just try to convey that every day at some point I quit, but I just didn't say it out loud. And so if you're going into the military, especially the more like physically demanding parts of it, you should probably get used to the idea of doing something that kind of sucks bad enough that you want to quit it at some point most days, either out of boredom or out of like misery, like physical misery.
But can
so,
you quit? Like
you can quit in various ways.
okay.
Like people don't really get fired in the Army, but they get transferred to other places. And so, but like the point is to kind of convey that the cool things are 10% of the overall pie.
Right.
And listening, like having to wake up early and do annoying things and get told what to do by people that you maybe don't think are that bright, but you got to listen to whatever they say anyway. Like that all comes with it. And so I try to communicate that. I also say I'm glad I did it. And so, because like those two things, while they like feel dissonant, it is important to understand that it is like a duality.
For sure. Oh, and thanks for joining us, IQ, and thanks for saying GM to everyone else.
Appreciate it, y'all.
So, and I feel like this is where like even this show that we put on, right? Like this right now is the funnest part.
Yeah, this is the best part. All the other parts are like kind of miserable.
Well, like the other tasks, I feel like I enjoy it. I don't think our tasks are that miserable actually for the show. Like at least for like I'm sure in the beginning, like at least for me, like I'm like, oh god, there were so many like daunting tasks, but I feel like we've actually gotten enough of a rhythm where I'm like, okay, every little piece is like it can be tedious, but it's good. Like I don't hate it.
I mean, we've done enough repetitions to both improve our individual skill, develop our taste, and build our systems to make it not as miserable. But it's still work.
Yes. And I feel like this is the part where there's the part 3, right? The getting paid part. That can sometimes make something feel less miserable if you are, fairly compensated. And I think that's the load-bearing word of like whether what you're doing is worth the bet that you think it is worth later, right?
I kind of want to be pedantic about making something feel less miserable. Because like obviously misery is subjective. But I would argue that the level of misery doesn't change, but the overall value you get from something is intrinsic plus extrinsic. And extrinsic is like money, fame, status, whatever. And so like the equation of is what I get out of it worth more than I put into it is helped by making money because the money might be the thing why, or might be the reason why you do it. But I've never thought about it as actually making the misery less. It just like if it was an equation, it would be misery is negative plus money positive might equal positive.
Or it could be just enjoyment plus. It doesn't have to be the misery
Yeah,
less.
yeah, 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 yeah. Not every task is miserable.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like that's the thing I'm trying to tweak in my loops, right? Is that I, as you know, I fluctuate between oh god and also like oh I feel better now that I'm on a treadmill. Like literally that is my day, right? But I also like tell you that but I picked the misery I enjoy the most, like of my life right now. Like even when I'm miserable, I'm like, oh well, at least I chose this misery, so therefore I enjoy it more. And I feel like maybe that's the factor that isn't explicitly stated in these like 10,000 hours thing is not only you have to enjoy it, but within the unpacked tasks, you have to make sure that there's nothing so miserable that you won't do it at all.
I still think we're talking about like a little bit different things. Like,
As
I
always.
really, we live in a world that requires money. It's an economy that you got to spend imaginary, numbers to like get food. So I resonate with the idea of yes, you can't just do the things that you want because you also have to get paid. But all of these things are about mastery of a thing, you know? And so the mastery of the thing exists, the ability to master something exists independent of your ability to sustain yourself by doing it. And so like if we want to have a complete discussion about how to live your life while mastering things, 100%. But like I do
You
think
you want to
it's
stick with pure mastery discussions.
no, I don't want to stick with that. I just think we need to be careful about conflating the two. Like we can say that because like giving advice about one does not necessarily map to the other.
True, and I think that's related to this cast I sent from Joan Westenberg just now, right?
Yep.
Of like something like, 99% of people shouldn't make their passion their job or something like that, and should just find something they are decent at and get paid for it. Which I think comes with a lot of like unpacking in itself and understanding her history. But then like I think that's the tricky part as well of like so should you just so some people just like master something and just not make it tied to any economic stuff, and I believe yes, like that is totally true. But then like for some people with the disease like me, I'm like no, I have to only do what I enjoy and somehow make a living off of it. So am I like the 1%, not because I'm special but because I just cannot compromise?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as long as you
Yep.
recognize that you're doing it to yourself, like, yeah, I makes sense.
Okay.
Like
So
I mean, there's people that we know that, spent a good chunk of their early 20s as like the night security guard at an art museum. And then they used that job as a way to facilitate the other aspects of their life that was like more art related. And so, is that exactly how they wanted to be spending their working hours? Like, no, not explicitly, but it made it possible to do the other things that they care about. And so, I'm not advocating for that explicitly. I want everybody to make their own choice about their life. That's like fundamentally what I'm all about. But in a very real way, I did that with the Army. Like I wanted to do the Army, but I accidentally set myself up for the second half of my 20s and the rest of my life by doing it. So like I think it is a good way to do it.
So, well, art's a great example, right? Just because it's such an extreme career. I
Yeah.
feel like you could do the whole like night security for museum situation, or you could try to make it in the art world, which involves in the 10,000 hours a bunch of tasks that are outside of making art, right? Like you gotta play the influencer game almost.
This is where we super disagree. Sorry, please
Yeah, yeah.
continue.
Oh, right. This is where I was like saying in your essay that there's like checkpoint alpha and checkpoint bravo when you're good at something, right? But my like rebuttal is that every single thing we want to get good at nowadays has like both product and distribution. And these are like evolving games for both of them. And if you're good at one and not good at the other, then it's really hard to master it. Perhaps because the OODA loop is not complete. Because if you don't have distribution, you actually don't complete the OODA loop.
Hard disagree, and here's why. So I use capital T thing as the noun stand-in for whatever you're trying to be good at. The issue is that you are saying you're trying to be good at, building a healthcare community. Like reframe is would you describe it as that, like a healthcare community?
Yes, I've been talked down from the original way I describe it.
But so you say, I'm trying to be great, the best at building a healthcare community. But what I believe you are actually trying to do is being great at making money while building a healthcare community that you like. And that is a different set of 10,000 hours than just building the healthcare community. And it's like,
and I've been told like by people wiser than me that, oh, actually you shouldn't think about the making money part because that's going to lead you to decisions that don't lead to the best product that will then lead you to make money, and that you're introducing an unnecessary checkpoint by doing that. Is that what you're disagreeing about?
I'm disagreeing that the logic of what we're talking about is incompatible. Like, I'm saying the thing that you feel tension with is solved by naming it correctly. And like, basically, if you name it, hey, I'm trying to make a living from this thing, and that's the thing I'm trying to be good at, then there is no issue because you actually haven't reached checkpoint Bravo, because you reached a different checkpoint Bravo than what you actually are trying to do.
Correct. So my question, which, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just like, oh, so does that mean that that is not the correct checkpoint to aim for in the first place? Which is what I keep hearing from people that I look up to. It's like, oh, like, it seems wise to obviously try to build a sustainable business, but will not lead to the best product.
I don't know if I'm qualified to be able to give anybody else a perspective on their own life. What I would say is anybody that is giving you advice that is further along than whatever has their own unique set of context and circumstance that worked out for them. It may work out the same way for you. It may not. The logic...
Yeah, that's the whole, like, does any advice apply to anybody situation?
Yeah. Like the core logic of the most important thing is making the thing as good as it can possibly be, followed by a supplementary line of thinking of, if you are trying to make money explicitly from the thing, it will be worse than what it could be. I generally kind of buy, but also I think kind of feels a little bit self-indulgent. Like, if we take the personal stakes out of it and we think about like any startup that is trying to make stuff, startups exist in a funding ecosystem where they get money from somewhere else, and then they eventually have to make something where they charge somebody something so that it can become a self-sustaining thing, right? Somebody has to pay for apps in some way, shape, or form. If you just focused on making the best product you possibly could without any of the money aspects, you could not make as good of a thing since there's no money coming in.
Yeah. That's my argument against this too, right? Because it's like the best healthcare community has a financial flow that is sustainable, right? Because it's like, I'm definitely not a VC funded startup. There's no cash going in right now. So therefore I have to operationalize it in a way where there is like cash circulating, not even to me, but just like within the community itself.
Yeah. And like where I kind of land is, if you do things that you feel are good and you generally have like a reasonable moral framework about the world, or about the world, a lot of people don't have that. But if you have made peace with your gods, and you like generally think of yourself as a good person, and you feel the feeling related to money and charging other people for stuff, you are probably going to make decisions that land on the reasonable side of charging people for things. If you're like, hey, I'm just going to charge people a bunch of stuff, and you think you're really not bothered by that at all, you probably will end up making decisions I think are icky. And that's, okay. Icky doesn't mean illegal or wrong. It's just not like my standard for how I would move through the world. We all ultimately have to feel good about ourselves when we go to sleep at night. And obviously I encourage you to push further than you're naturally comfortable with in terms of money, because I don't think that you're making slop and selling people snake oil and, a bill of goods and all whatever the idioms you want to use. And as a result, you are bringing real value to people's lives and the world, and you should make some money off of that so you can keep doing it. But all of it is just you try something and then it either feels good or it doesn't, and it works or it doesn't, and then you adjust and then try something else. That's all it is, over and over and over again.
So, in the article example by Adam, he talks about Dr. Pimple Popper.
Yeah.
As an example, who found her crazy outlet, right? So for those of you who don't know, Dr. Pimple Popper is one of the world's famous dermatologists now. Because
so gross. I hate everything that adjacent in terms of I'm not going to yuck other people's yums, but it's pretty gross.
But but it's so satisfyingly gross. Okay, anyway.
Don't even. I'm going to throw up on this podcast.
But the point is that I feel like the examples cited here all come down to master your craft, plus you have to master distribution, because she is really good at publicity.
You keep saying you have to, and I'm just who says? If you want to make more money from it, you have to be good at selling it. Sure. But you can also just be the sushi chef who has spent 30 years crafting the perfect roll. That's okay if that's how you want to live your life. There's not a moral imperative to sell it.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's a moral imperative. It's just that I feel nowadays, sadly, because of the whole selection bias, if someone's really, really good at being a sushi chef, people don't even know about it, but then they know about Jiro Dreams of Sushi because there's a Netflix documentary about it. You know what I mean? That's where I don't agree. I don't think that's how the world should operate. But then I feel that's how society is now, right? And then that's what leads to this toxic culture where the hype matters more than the product. Look at Cluely.
Yeah,
which is a startup that a bunch of relatively young people have made really gotten funding for, but it's technically people have unpacked that through looking at the source code, and we're wait, this is literally a ChatGPT wrapper situation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about whatever the state of societal morality is around things. I don't think people deserve to get paid just because they're good at stuff, which is kind of the inverse of what we're talking about.
Huh?
Being
really?
good at something doesn't mean other people have to care about it. Like that. I mean, personally, that's why I always advocate for doing stuff that you care about, because there's no guarantee, and nobody should be compelled to give a shit about what you're doing. If you do stuff that other people like, awesome, especially if it makes you feel good and you want to do it, and you don't get captured by other people and stop doing the thing you actually want to do so that you can just feed other people's temporary fascination with it.
Right.
But would it be convenient for me if the things I was good at, I got paid a lot of money for? 100%. Would I say no out of some puritanical, hey, I just want to be good at this thing, like a solo monk mode thing? Also no. But I also hold that in the same place as I would like my friends who are really good at things to get paid more, but I also don't think that they deserve it just because they're good at stuff.
So I feel the more healthy way of framing it, then, that's a bit of compromise of every point, is if what you're building has a interactive or other person component, it is part of the job of the craft of mastery to make sure there are loops that involve other people's feedback so that you make your thing better. Because, we've all seen, right, products that the person thinks is really good, but it's actually kind of like shitty for everyone else,
Sure.
according to everyone else, right? So, like, kind of like how stand-up comedian, like one of my favorite comedians, Leslie Liao, said that, oh yeah, comedians, we're horny for an audience. like that is something that she's constantly like chasing, right? So it's something like that where I feel like for some crafts that have other people's involvement, like part of the mastery is building the loop where you get access to the audience and you're constantly incorporating a little bit of what they're saying, so that you can nudge your product towards being a better version of it.
I think I still go back to what I said earlier about like maybe the exact wording isn't mastering making money at the thing, but making the best community moderated thing and making the best thing in your perspective are just different different mastery paths. And so like I probably will never ask for feedback on my like poetry and
Yeah.
maybe even like novel type stuff,
Which-
other than like explicit technical things. I try to get a lot of feedback on my product things because that's not for me. It's like part of it is for me, right? Because I'm putting my like heart and energy into it. But ultimately it's it's in service of somebody else.
Right.
Like you can have a very strong opinion about what's funny or not, but comedy inherently the audience gets to decide what's funny.
Exactly. Yeah. So I feel like when I was separating the two, right? There's two kinds of products where, yeah, like in terms of like writing a novel and like poetry, I'm like, yeah, that's not a feedback situation.
But the way that you're framing it makes it feel like it's the same.
Oh, but I feel like more like there are certain types of art where I feel like audience input doesn't make sense. Like and writing like long, poetry and fiction art, like those specific examples. I think like certain kinds of art, like actually most art, like I don't think you would want feedback, right? You want the artist's true expression in there, or an unadulterated expression.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's because like I don't actually think about art all that much, sadly, whereas you're actually in both worlds most of the time, and that's what causes the difference.
Like the way that I think about art, and frankly, like this is going to be the only way I think it's reasonable to think about art in a world where the technical aspects of creating media kind of go to zero, and that's what AI assisted creation of anything kind of implies. Is art for me communicates something about the maker that they're ideally trying to communicate, but it's like some like glimpse of them that other people cannot express because they are not them.
Yeah.
And in that framing of it, audience feedback is irrelevant because it's like that. The point isn't to make something more palatable for other people, which is like apps need to be palatable by other people because that's who's trying to use them. Like art is the expression of that individual at a moment in time in the context that they have. And if you take feedback on that, you are basically diluting the thing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I'm in full agreement.
Gregarious in the chat. Yeah, you only get paid when other people value what you're good at. Yeah, 100%. That's how economics works. Or if you have systems where laws say people get paid for things, and then other people might not value it. But we only do that for massive corporations now, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Christin, what else do we need to unpack here?
Any other snippets of the essay that you enjoyed?
Let me take a little gander. I think it was like I think we undersell the aspect. I mean, like the reason why I wrote the "Have you put in your hours" essay after reading this, but honestly not with it explicitly in mind. It just like it kind of like a piece of coral. It went somewhere else and started to grow in my brain. the amount of time it takes to not just get good at something, but to think about something long enough to have different thoughts than other people is massively under talked about. There are so many people doing so many things, thinking so many things all the time, that for you to meaningfully contribute to a field, especially if it's an old field, you do have to be doing it kind of a lot or come at it from a perspective that hasn't really been in the space before. And I think
And
that's it.
you saying that made me realize one of the basis of our misunderstandings is that to me, I'm like, well, duh, that's a given.
No, nobody thinks about that.
But then I realized that it's because I literally am trained to do that. It didn't occur to me that that's different.
No, like, I mean, do we want to talk about the company that we were trashing yesterday or no?
Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. I deleted that cast.
Yeah. I mean,
I
we don't have
chickened
to
out
say the
again.
name, but there's basically a company out there that's selling bliss on demand, which maybe there's something to the because I don't want to give them like publicity. Like maybe there's something in there that is like a nugget of self-improvement or value. But like if any other space in the world tried to sell you bliss on demand as explicitly as that, it's like in the ballpark of very aggressive like drugs, like life ruining things. And like the idea that you can go from yourself to a 10x version of yourself in any area with no effort, like it makes it really, really hard to actually
Well,
get better at things.
to clarify though, I feel like because I have a rudimentary understanding of their program, it is quite a lot of effort. They're not saying that you would get this split on demand with no effort at all. It's just their marketing is really aggressive. So I want to separate out their marketing from their product. I think their product, like from what I understand, like they do require you to do like a lot of sitting to maintain it and all of that. So this is a meditation program.
But they're pitching it in a week.
Plus, they teach you the method in a week, and then from what I understand from someone who did take it, like you still have to do a lot of maintenance work. So it's like once you're in, I think it's actually a pretty big program. My entire issue is the way they market it, not the actual product itself. I actually think it probably is super helpful for most people. It's the aggressive marketing that I think it's a little insulting to certain other frameworks that I was not super happy about.
Well, we didn't really talk about that yesterday, so I'm gonna need to reprocess that. The but basically, like, I really don't think that there are shortcuts, and it is. I mean, like David Foster Wallace, who we talked about a couple weeks ago, he has a really powerful interview clip, which I think I posted in our Discord. And it's just kind of like him in the 90s reflecting on how easy it is to get consumed with, at that time, television, that you get to change the channel from the remote instead of having to walk up and change it. And reflecting on the inherent long-term problem of somebody making something for you to consume that doesn't care about you and is trying to sell you something and has made it so hyper palatable for you to consume that, whether it's like for your ego or for your physical body with like crazy foods, or like literal drugs or some sort of activity, which is like mimicking drugs. Like somebody that doesn't care about you, that is selling you that thing and can offer a fraction of it that makes it feel like that thing is real. If you play that tape out, it's really nightmarish when you go all the way to the end. And I personally think the only antidote that I've found, because I'm as susceptible as anybody else to the idea and then the chemical reality of consuming like crazy processed foods, like I'm super susceptible to the idea of, oh, I don't need to do work to get the outcomes that I want. But I really do think the outcomes that make you feel enduringly good are on the far side of hard work. And that
Sure.
work, like it may like look like different hard work today versus 20
Right.
years ago, but it's still there.
Yeah, so I think my whole issue, now that I've found time to think about it, is that this isn't even exclusive to this particular program. It even
No.
happens with some free programs out there. Is that the way they teach it is pretty much like this is the best way, and you should not attempt other ways. And if the or like this is the best way and the other ways suck in some other way, like that is the particular thing that I think is a little dangerous. Because it's like not only you have the bliss on demand, but it introduces a kind of closed-mindedness that is really hard to undo. And I think like that's the subtle like spiritual ego thing that is really it can cause long-term harmful effects potentially, and it's only because of the marketing.
I disagree actually with that too. I think that's a feature of humanity for most people, not a bug. Like I fundamentally believe most people want to be told what to do because it's a lot less cognitive load to have to decide everything that comes your way. And
Uh-huh.
as a result, somebody telling you that this is the best means that you don't have to think about it anymore ever again. I agree that the outcomes that you're talking about are like dangerous. I don't know if it rises to the level of spiritual ego. I think it's just like raw human laziness.
So wait, are we agreeing or disagreeing?
Well, I
I'm
disagree.
saying that that's not good in a secondary effect, like order effect kind of way.
Agree on the outcome, disagree with the characterization.
Oh, that whether it's on purpose or not.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, people just don't want to think, which is, that feels weird for us because we have like an ambient anxiety. For me, it's like inbred Catholic guilt. For you, it's your upbringing. And we just like have this sense of, oh, there is not just a black and white answer to most things, if not anything.
Hmm.
But that's like a really fundamentally uncomfortable way to live. And most people don't want that.
Yeah, it's hard to sell as a product, apparently.
It's impossible to sell as a product, other than to like the 3,000 people that will have found our clips and haven't scrolled away immediately.
Yeah. Well, I think this comes to like comes back to, for example, right? Like as I'm building Reframe, I'm thinking about like opening it up to everyone as a free playground, and then you suggested, oh, there should be some kind of like rudimentary framework of things that people can do, right? And
Yeah,
I feel
a
like
flow, like a flow.
like a flow, yeah, yeah. And I feel like that's where I personally struggle the most, which is a skill issue. It's like, how do I like come up with a framework that I'm happy enough with, that I can like, release and be like, oh, this is roughly something you can do. That is which I know is an approximation and not the real thing.
I think it might be helpful to realize you're giving that like tier of participants a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you try to give the same thing away for free that you're doing for the paid tier, it's never going to hit that mark. If you
Yeah.
just appreciate it for its own thing, maybe it helps you do that without feeling so bad about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is the direction I'm going with. But I
Nice.
think it's like this whole like, abstraction to like, just do just, to do steps 1, 2, 3 and you get question mark and profit. Like that is what sells, right? And then
Yeah.
that's what the beauty of the unpacking essay in your essay too. Is like, well, actually, like there's a lot more to it.
Yeah. But I mean, people got to onboard somehow, which is
Hmm.
like the one self criticism of my criticism of that other entity is like, if it gets them in the door and it actually makes their lives better,
Hmm.
what's the harm in lying to them up front? I don't know. I wouldn't do it, but I get why it's practical.
Yeah, and then I buy like steps 1, 2, 3. Like, look at my Gumroad library, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
filled with this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, Kristen, I appreciate you jumping on today and we us getting into unpacking everything.
Yeah. I don't think we discussed what we're going to talk about next time yet.
No, and we're
We've
gonna
just
have
been
to
kind of on the
miss next
fly.
week's. Next
Oh,
week,
right,
I
right.
got a funeral, so we got 2 weeks before the next show.
Yeah. So, in the meantime, if anyone comes across cool essays, please feel free to drop it in the Discord link down below, and we would love to check it out. I think it helps for us to crowdsource material sometimes.
100%. Thank you all for hanging out, and have a good rest of your day and a good